In the last video, we have learned about futures, async and await, and I have explained how they work together in this method that we have created to sign in anonymously with Firebase. In this video, I want to take another look at this method because I want to focus on a design pattern that is used here. And this design pattern is called a singleton. So what is a singleton? Well, quoting a definition from Wikipedia, a singleton is a design pattern used in object-oriented programming to permit no more than one instance of a class. So in this method, we are getting access to an instance of the FirebaseAuth class via a singleton. And this is a good time to take a look at the documentation for FirebaseAuth because this will show us how to create a singleton in Dart. And if you're already familiar with singletons in Dart, you can skip to the next video. Otherwise, you can follow along. Okay, so if I click through on this instance member over here, I can head over to the documentation for the FirebaseAuth class. And as you can see here, instance is a variable of type FirebaseAuth and it's declared as static. And what this means is that we can access it directly by typing firebaseauth.instance like we have done over here. In other words, we don't need to create an instance of the FirebaseAuth class in order to access the instance variable. And this is because instance is defined as static. Now, if you remember the definition of singleton that I used a minute ago, we have learned that a singleton is a design pattern used to permit no more than one instance of a class. So how can we guarantee that there can be no more than one instance of the FirebaseAuth class? And the answer to that is that we can declare the constructor of the FirebaseAuth class to be private. Now, this is a little trick that is often used, and not just in Dart, but in other programming languages as well. So let me explain how this works. To make it not possible to create multiple instances of a class, we can make its constructor private. And earlier on, we have learned that to make things private in Dart, we use an underscore. So this code that I have highlighted over here may look a little strange, and what it does is to define the constructor to be private. And this means that we can't create any instances of the FirebaseAuth class itself. Instead, we had to use FirebaseAuth.instance, which is the one and only instance of this class. In summary, I just wanted to talk briefly about singletons here, and the reason for that is that singletons provide global access to resources that can be accessed anywhere in our code. And it is very common practice in third-party libraries to provide access to classes such as FirebaseAuth via a singleton. And as we will see in the upcoming videos, singletons will not be our pattern of choice for accessing resources in our code, and we will explore other ways of getting access to things in Flutter. But for now, we just want to focus on Firebase authentication, and for simplicity, we can keep this code as it is. Alright, so let's continue on the next video.